let us look at it holistically, merge the two, and come to an agreement that will, enhance public welfare. Secondly, there was a question about vacation costs. Okay, yes, there will be some judges sitting during the vacation. Okay, and I expect that if the courts that these cases have been filed in, before, are sitting during the vacation, we definitely, myself, my deputy, and my team will definitely not have, a legal vacation. We'll have to stay to do the work. A question was asked about PDS, which has been overruled by the Minister for Government Communications. But so you see, you listed a whole number of them. All right. Once we get to a point where there is an update, I will give you, that update on it. So, for instance, if you take National Cathedral, okay, we just commissioned Deloitte to do a forensic audit. In addition to the normal audit that they did, they are going to do a forensic audit on it. Now, once I have the forensic audit, report, and the investigative report, is concluded, then I can announce that we have, concluded investigations in the National Cathedral case. Now, the question of selective prosecution, right? When I announced the termination of cases involving former NDC officials and appointees, I gave reasons, okay, concrete reasons that legal professionals agreed with. All right. And I also said that the cases were not being terminated because of the political coloration of the persons who were before the courts. Okay. I assessed them on their merits and then decided that I was not going to go forward with them. Right? I believe that the proof of the pardon is in the eating. So I have always said that when we come to a point where NDC current NDC appointees are being investigated and prosecuted, that is when Ghanaians will know that, I'm a man of my word. Okay? I have said it time and again that the fact that you are an appointee of this government doesn't mean that you are immune from prosecution. All right? But if you bring baseless charges against people, like they did to the finance minister, and then finally went back looking for evidence, you don't expect me, at my level, as a senior member of the bar, a former law lecturer, to come and look at that case and say, please proceed, because if I drop it, they will say because the two of us belong to the same political party. Okay, I don't take that as any serious criticism. All right. So yes, we are not engaged in selective prosecution. You will notice that there is a marked difference between what we are doing and what was done in the past. Okay, just look at the investigations. Look at what we did in, Kobina Edubohe. All right, and you will understand. Now, that dovetails into the question about Kobina Edubohe. The matter is sub judice, right? It is before a court of law. I wouldn't want to come out and rehash our case, in the media by, rebutting some of the arguments that the council have been making. But we have filed the case. We have evidence on record of the date of publication, the date of purchase of the properties, with receipts from the real estate, people. We have the date of the construction of the Oyarefa, estate. So, and then the one at Asokoro Mampong. We have everything. So if council comes out to say that they were constructed or purchased prior to his being, appointed, then he should bring the countervailing evidence. All right. Edubonhi was appointed to, in 2007 as a staff of the National, this in Signals Bureau. All right. It was in 2017 that he became the director of the bureau. Okay. So is he saying that from, before 2007, he bought those properties, or before 2017 that he bought those properties? Okay, so I'm not going to rehash our arguments, here to the media. Now, the question of delay. You see, if you go back to 2017, okay, by this time, how many people were convicted by the NPP? How many cases were filed by the NPP? In fact, trials hadn't started in any case. Because, remind you, okay, as a senior member of the NDC legal team, I was almost invariably involved in most of the cases that were brought. Or I used to, sometimes if I'm not counsel, I will attend court with, the Honorable Felix, Fosukwachi and co. All right. So by this time, in 2017, had they convicted anybody? They are the ones who are leading this narrative that there is a delay in oral just to give us, a sense of desperation and, make us look bad. Okay? But come to think of it, I have given you an update where we have started trial. Look, when we file our charges. Within 2 weeks, we file our witness statements and supporting documents. That is a record. In the Atuforcing case, it took 6 months to file witness statements. You can go back and check. 6 months to file just witness statements. We file within 2 weeks. Okay? That should tell you how hard we are working and how diligent we are with our investigations. That is why I told Ghanaians that I will never go to court, okay, and file charges against anybody to persecute the person without evidence. I will never do that. And so there is no delay whatsoever. We are going at a very supersonic speed as far as oral is concerned. Now, also remember that, okay, conviction depends, on the judge, on the court. If I send the matter to court, I cannot be the one determining when the person is convicted. And so it will be, if I were laid back, allowing for long adjournments, not being serious with the cases and so on, then you can accuse me of delay. However, if I'm doing everything possible to ensure that there's speed and efficiency in the prosecution, okay, how can you blame me that there is delay in the execution of oral? Then also, my sister asked about remand. It is true, all right? And when you speak about this issue, to me, it is like carrying coal to Newcastle. The reason is because in my previous life, I ran the Center for Public Interest Law. That is separate. In fact, I established the Center for Public Interest Law years ago. And I did studies. You can go on the internet and Google studies on remand, the long periods of remand, in Ghana. And you are right. It's not usually the white-collar criminals who do that. It's the proverbial goat thief, the cassava thief, and so on and so forth. All right? They are the ones, sometimes it's because they don't have money to hire lawyers. And the legal aid system is under-resourced, understaffed, and sometimes they don't even know that they are entitled to legal aid. Okay, so sometimes when we did our study, you get to Accra Central Police Station, and somebody has been in remand a police remand for 6 months. That is unacceptable. Okay, so the reset will include reset in the reform of the prison system. Okay, UNODC, the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, all right, is working with us, on what we call the Mandela rules. Okay, that will include shortening and the period in which people stay on remand. Now, on your question on dual citizenship, if I understood it, basically it was to the effect that the fact that somebody has gotten the citizenship of a foreign country should not bar them, from contesting contesting elections. That there is a bill which was pioneered by Professor Koku Asare, known on Facebook popularly as